Crypto-Spore here. In this video, I wanted to go over the different types of cards that you can collect in the game Splinterlands. So this is a game, if you're not aware, it used to be called Steem Monsters, but they rebranded because they started out operating on the Steem blockchain. Now, a blockchain, if you're not aware of that, it's the same technology that Bitcoin is built on. But instead of a cryptocurrency, what they're doing is doing digital assets or digital collectibles. And each card in this game is one of these digital assets. Kind of like if you're aware of CryptoKitties. That was a collectible game, sort of, that was running on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, Splinterlands is a collectible card game running off of the Steem blockchain. And once they decided that they were going to include some functionality from other blockchains, in particular the Tron blockchain, they rebranded to Splinterlands instead of Steem Monsters, because Steem is more specific to the Steem blockchain. With that out of the way, it's a very cool game, and it's similar to some other collectible trading card games like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or some of the more online ones actually are closer, like Hearthstone, for example. That would be a digital collectible card game. Now, the difference is that Hearthstone is not running on a blockchain. So the cards in Hearthstone are stored on Blizzard's, that's the parent company, Blizzard's servers that they own. And they own those cards. So you as a player, it's a privilege for you to play. You don't have the right to play, and you don't have a right to the cards that you've acquired. Even if you paid money for those cards, they can be taken from you. You don't truly own them. And this happened actually to somebody who expressed support for the Hong Kong protesters. And because Blizzard didn't want to anger China, they like that market, they like that money coming in from China, they decided to punish basically that player. And he was a very high level player, and he had won some major tournament or something. And anyways, they stripped some of his cards, I believe, and also like a title. Anyways, Splinterlands, they can't do that because each card is its own digital asset that's stored on the blockchain in your personal wallet. And as long as you keep your encrypted keys to your wallet safe and secure, just like you would with a Bitcoin wallet, then your digital assets, your cards in the game, are safe. Now, you can trade and sell these cards with other players. And there are marketplaces that are set up for you to do so, and you can do that in various different currencies, including fiat currency, like your credit card or whatever. But you can also use cryptocurrencies to pay for these. You can also use the in-game currency, which is called Dark Energy Crystals, or DEC, or DEC for short. So, when Splinterlands initially launched, they had a set of cards that were very limited. I can't remember exactly how many they had. Something like 39, somewhere around that, maybe 50 at the most, of Alpha Edition cards. They called them Alpha Edition cards. And these were all unique, each unique card. Now, each one also had a gold foil version of it, which was much more rare. But they were still the same basic card. Now, they had booster packs of Alpha Edition cards that you could purchase for about $2 each, $2 American. And they, how much was it? I believe they had, what was it? I think 300,000 packs, and each booster pack of Alpha Edition had 5 cards in it each. So you can do the calculations. I believe it was 300,000 packs. I'm pretty sure of that now that I'm thinking of it. And once those sold out, there was a period of time where you couldn't get any more Alpha Edition cards. So they ended up releasing Beta Edition cards. Now this included all of those original, I can't remember, maybe 40 cards or whatever it was of the Alpha, but they expanded it out. So there were additional cards that were unique to Beta. But they also reprinted all of the Alpha Edition cards in Beta format. So they were considered Beta cards, but they were some of those same cards, they weren't unique. They were the same ones as Alpha. So if you didn't get the Alpha cards, you could get the Beta edition of it, which in practice were the same. Had all the same abilities. There was a difference in terms of how many cards you needed to level them up, because what you do in this game, if you have duplicates or multiples of a certain card, you can combine them and it fuses them into one card and it levels it up. And as you level it up, they gain more abilities, like more health points, more attack points. Sometimes they gain a special ability at a certain level, and there's a maximum level depending on the rarity of the card. The common level cards could go up to level 10, etc. And legendary is the rarest type, and you could go up to level 4. And it didn't require as many cards to level up, but they're harder to get a hold of. So that was 79 cards. So at this point in beta, you've got, let's say alpha beta combined, you have 79 unique cards with their own name and their own abilities. So there were 900,000 beta edition booster packs. Each of them had 5 cards, like the previous edition, and they were about $2 to buy a pack, and one rare or more rare than that. So you have common, rare, epic, and legendary in order of least rare to most rare. Also, like I said, each card could have a gold foil edition version of it as well, which was about 1 or 2% of each type of card would be a gold foil. So hopefully you're following along. So at this point we've got, with combined alpha and beta, about 79 unique cards with their own unique abilities, their own name, etc. These could only be obtained by purchasing those booster packs. In the early version of the game, you could win packs, but then they changed that to reward edition cards were the free ones that you could earn by playing the game. So when I joined the game, they had just finished discontinuing that as a reward. And now they had this new type of card, a third edition, which were called reward edition cards. So these reward cards you would get through playing the daily quest, which generally would be playing with a specific type of magic. There are 5 magic types, 5 main primary magic types, and 1 bonus magic type dragon. But you have 5 basically elements. You have the life element, death element, or splinter they're called in the game, splinter. The death splinter, the life splinter, the earth splinter, water splinter, and fire splinter, and then a bonus one, a dragon splinter, that acted a little bit differently. But one of those 5 main ones, not including the dragon splinter, would be the daily quest. Now you would say do 5 ranked battles and win them with a specific specific magic type that was randomly generated each day for you. So let's say today my daily quest would be 5 ranked battles with the water splinter. So it might take me 10 battles to win 5, right? Because if I might win 50-50, let's say that's my ratio. I hopefully I do a little better than that, but so let's say it takes me 10 battles in ranked matches, and let's say I play water splinter for all those, and let's say I win 5 of them. Once I win 5, then I can claim my reward. And depending on what league you're in, how high up in the league you are, determines how many reward cards you'll get when you complete your daily quest. So the higher up in the ranking you are, the more daily reward cards you'll get. So these are basically free cards. Play to earn cards. So you don't have to pay for them. You just have to have an account on Splinterlands, and you can earn free cards every single day. Now, there are also seasons that last 2 weeks, and depending on your rank at the end of the season, it's mainly dependent on the highest rank you achieved during that season. Then at the end of the season, at the end of that 2-week period, then you will also get additional reward cards depending on how high up you got. So those are 2 different ways you can earn free cards in the game. It's just by playing your daily quests and trying to rank up as high as you can during the season. And you'll get a bunch of free reward cards, and you can get really valuable cards. I got one not that long ago, which was a Black Dragon reward card, and it was gold foil edition as well. So that card was worth $75 on the open market. So that's basically, the price is dependent on supply and demand like anything else. And when I got that card, it was worth $75 American on the open market. And I ended up selling it and buying a different card that I had been trying to get for a while. That was a beta edition card that you could only get if you were lucky buying packs, or if you bought it specifically off the market from somebody else who got it lucky from packs. Yeah, I could have sold that and cashed it out for Canadian dollars, and that would have been what, like $85 or something Canadian. So people actually make money off of this game from their regularly getting these free cards and getting lucky here and there and getting a really good one. Or they play multiple accounts and they get lots of free cards, and then they sell those and they can make it up like that. Or they play tournaments, and that's another way you can make money in the game. You play tournaments with your cards. You can accumulate all kinds of reward cards and play using a lot of reward cards, and win in the tournaments and make money that way as well. But this isn't about making money in the game, which there are several ways of doing, but the types of cards. Now, Alpha Edition sold out long ago. Like I said, there were only 300,000 packs. It sounds like a lot, but it goes. And then the Beta Edition cards were 900,000 packs, and those have all sold out as well. Now, for a period of time, you could only get reward cards, but then they also came out with Winds of Change promo cards. So you could buy what they called Orbs, which are essentially just booster packs of 5 cards like the other ones. But these were referred to as promo type cards in the Winds of Change edition. There were a few other there were a few other promo cards that weren't Winds of Change that came out from a Kickstarter fundraising campaign. There was one Dragon Summoner card that it's a pretty cool card, actually. Not worth very much individually, but quite useful. And so there are other ones you could get, and I can't remember how many packs or orbs were available for that one, but you can still get some orbs. There are still orbs available to purchase on the market that are unopened, that you can purchase directly from Splinterlands. But there was a bit of a time that you couldn't buy alpha or beta because they were sold out. And the Winds of Change is not a complete set of cards. You can't make a competitive deck using just Winds of Change cards. They're more like supplementary, interesting, cool little cards you can kind of add to your deck. Whereas the alpha and beta editions, you could make a competitive deck just with those cards. And the reward cards as well don't really constitute a complete set, where you can't just make a competitive deck just out of reward cards. There's some other cards you need to actually be able to do that. In particular, the summoner cards. So you to play a match, you put one summoner card, and then you have a team of monsters that summoner is capable of summoning. If you're not familiar with the game. So now, just recently, just within the last couple days, a new edition of cards came out called Untamed Edition. Now this is similar to Alpha and Beta, wherein you can make a competitive deck just out of Untamed Edition cards, including summoners for each of the different splinters, including Dragon Splinter, and all of the monsters you need to fill out a proper team and be a competitive player in the game with just using Untamed cards if you want. But if you have any alpha or beta cards, if you have a deck that's primarily beta, like mine, my deck is mainly beta cards, you can buy Untamed cards and add them to your deck to supplement, to fill out specific roles or some of the new abilities that were released in Untamed. Now with Untamed, there will be 1.5 million booster packs of Untamed Edition cards. And none of them are reprints from Alpha or Beta. They are completely unique cards, and we were told that there would be a similar number of cards in Untamed as there were in Beta. Now in Beta there were 79 cards, and I looked on the market earlier today and I saw that there were 70 unique Untamed cards. So maybe there's another 9 that people just aren't willing to buy, aren't willing to sell or let go of yet. But either way, there's roughly 70 to 80 Untamed cards, and they're all unique, each with their own name, their own different artwork, their own abilities, their own stats, etc. And they're not reprints of the Alpha or Beta edition. So what you could do ultimately, if you wanted the ultimate deck in Splinterlands, you would have alpha and or beta cards. Like I said, because there's a reprint of all the alpha cards are also included in the beta edition, so I consider them kind of a combined alpha slash beta set. So you could have alpha slash beta cards, as well as the promo cards, reward cards, Winds of Change cards, and now a full other complete set of Untamed cards. You could have all of them, and you can select a team from any of the cards in the game if you were to collect all of the cards. And so that makes it so much more flexible and so many more possible combinations that it really keeps the game really interesting, and I think it's really fun. So if you haven't played the game, basically what you do is you pick a summoner, you pick a team of monsters, you draft a team of monsters based on the battle conditions you're given that are kind of randomized. And then the other person you're going up against, they do the same. And then once you've both submitted your teams, once you've drafted your teams, then they just go. And you don't have to do anything. It just plays out. And you watch to see whose team wins against the other team. And so it's kind of like a draft style game. It's not like turn-based where you take a turn, the other person takes a turn, you take a turn, etc. You pick your team, they pick their team, and then they go. Kind of like, I like to think of it almost like management, like of a football team or whatever. You're the manager of a football team. You pick your players for the different positions, and then you watch them go, and you hopefully your team wins against the opposition team. And that's basically where we're at this point. Untamed just came out, and people are exploring. I found that my primarily beta deck is still very competitive against the cards that are out there, probably because not a lot of people have gotten used to the new cards yet. But I bet you certain untamed cards are going to become very desirable for anybody, even people who have primarily beta decks, because you're going to want certain abilities on your team. Like, for example, you might want a tank healer that maybe you didn't have the ability to have in your team before on that particular splinter. Something like that. It helps fill out certain roles that you might not have had a very good card to put in that role before, but maybe because of the slight differences between the different cards, and each one is unique, you might find one that actually fits that role on your team a little better than the beta cards. And so that's the state we're at now with Splinterlands and the new Untamed cards that have come out. I opened up 4 packs on the first day that it came out. Some people bought 200 packs or more on the before they even came out, and then they opened them all. But I was a little more reserved. I just got 4 packs. 2 of them actually I won, and 2 of them I purchased. So I only spent $4, but I got what is that? 4 packs times 5 cards. That's 20 cards, and I actually got 9 rares and 11 commons. So that was a really good draw for me. It was a very lucky draw, because each pack only guarantees 1 rare. So I was only guaranteed 1 rare or higher rarity, like it could have been an epic or a legendary, but you're only guaranteed 1 rare or above card and per pack, and I had 4 packs, so I was only guaranteed 4 rares, but I ended up getting 9. So that's more than double what the minimum guaranteed is. So I think that was a pretty good draw. I haven't been able to use them too much yet because they're so low level, and my beta cards have been leveled up quite a bit, so they're not quite at that same level to really compete with my cards at this point. But I'll get more Untamed cards, and some of them will be duplicates, and I'll be able to upgrade them and keep playing and be more well-rounded in my collection, and be able to choose a little bit more freely about what I draft in my team per battle. So, have you experienced the new Untamed cards yet? Are there any particular cards that you really like? I love the new artwork. I actually prefer it to the previous edition cards. The previous edition cards are very cartoony, which it's cool. I like the artwork on them, but the Untamed cards are a little more edgy. They're a little darker, and I like the style of the artwork on the Untamed cards more. It's just my personal preference, but I like the look of them. They're really cool. There's one Boogeyman for the Death Splinter that's got really cool artwork on it, and some other ones. They're just really good. Is there any that you like? Is there any one that you feel is going to become the card? There's one Cornelius that I think is going to become a card that just everybody's going to want at least one of at their level of deck. to really compete properly. I think that that's going to be one of those cards that everybody's going to want. Cornelius, this is big I guess because of the cornea is probably where they got the name from, but it looks cool and the abilities are really neat. I think it would pair up really well with Lord Arianthius, or however you pronounce that. It's another card. It's actually a reward edition card that has hit its full print run, and you can't get it anymore except for off the market. But I think that would pair really well. Lord A, some people call it, as the front card, and Cornelius as the end card at the back. What do you think? What is your opinion of Untamed? Do you like the artwork, and is there a particular card that you think is going to be that must-have card? Anyways, I'd love to hear your feedback, and until next time, everybody, Crypto-Spore signing out.